You must have heard that communication is the beginning of every good thing that we enjoy in life. If you are a manager or a leader, an entrepreneur or college student, or any professional or employee at a workplace, then this summary might help you in many ways. With this, let me introduce you to today's book summary, which is of 21 Days of Effective Communication by tuhovsky. So guys, what are we waiting for? Let's jump right into the introduction. Communication is important in our social lives and relationships. You can only relate well with the other person if you can communicate with them effectively. For any kind of relationship to succeed, the people involved must be able to communicate with each other. Communication is a skill that is learned over time. It gets better through practice. You can always improve your communication regardless of your age, your social status, or your family background. Like any other skill, communication requires commitment and hard work. It's not easy, but it is possible. Communication skills work only when they are put into practice. This book will teach you how to change the way you communicate and make it better. So, without any wait, we are starting with this audiobook summary with the very first chapter, Day 1, Listening. One of the most important aspects of communication is listening. For you to communicate effectively with the other person, you must first have good listening skills. Listening is not just keeping quiet and waiting for your opportunity to speak. It is allowing the other person to speak their minds and pour their hearts out. When you listen, you give the other person a chance to share their thoughts, opinions, and ideas. According to Carl Rogers, a renowned psychologist, giving someone a chance to talk about their feelings allows them to change their thoughts and behaviors. By talking to a person who listens and understands, we can work on our issues better and solve them. It is always good to listen to the other person, even if their ideas are inconsistent or insensible. For us to be effective listeners, we must keep quiet and give others the chance to say what they need to say. By being patient and understanding to others, we give them a chance to handle their problems or look for alternative ways to solve their issues. How can you become a better listener? You can become a better listener by encouraging another person to speak and showing them that you hear what they are saying. By nodding or using non-intrusive words such as, I see, you show the other person that you are following through with what they are saying. Through this, you also encourage them to carry on and speak their minds. You can also make your listening better by allowing the other person to speak everything they need to talk about. This will work specially for an angry person who is just looking for a person to listen. Doing this will help reduce the anger and calm down the person. When a person shares the information with you, you might find yourself judging them based on what they are going through. Sometimes, you may find yourself trying to create theories to explain a situation that a person experiences. But let me tell you, this is very wrong on your part. The other person may not be happy when they realize that you are judging them. You should also avoid advising the other person unless they ask for it. You should not tell the other person that you understand what they are going through, because you really don't. Even though you may have been in similar situations before, you may not have similar reactions with the other person. Our character types are different. Our emotions, past experiences, and family backgrounds, everything is different. When the other person asks for advice, you should monitor how they react to the advice you give and know when to stop. The body language of the other person can tell you how they have reacted to the advice you have given to them. You can tell if your advice has been taken well or not. And through this, you will know when to stop. When you give advice, you should understand that the other person might take it or not. You should be open to the idea that it is not in your place to make decisions for the other person. Now, how can you practice listening skills? If you want to know how good your listening skills are, you can practice by calling a friend or a relative whom you haven't spoken to in a while. Use the 20-minute phone call to measure how well you can listen and also use the opportunity to improve your relationship with that person. You can make this better by practice regularly. Let's start with the day 2 now. Avoid interrupting. How do you feel when talking to someone who keeps on interrupting you? It is natural to feel annoyed and disrespected by that person. This is also how the other person feels when you keep interrupting them when they are speaking. When you are arguing with another person, you might want to make your voice heard by interrupting the person when they talk. When discussing a topic that you like, you might be tempted to interrupt the other person and demonstrate your passion for the topic. By interrupting the other person, you make them feel unimportant. They may also feel that you don't give them the attention they deserve. The person may feel that their ideas are not as important as yours, and this negatively affects the quality of your relationship. The person might also be unable to think clearly if you keep interrupting. They may feel overwhelmed by the ideas you are trying to impose. How can you avoid interrupting other people? You can improve your communication by setting a daily target and rewarding yourself if you can spend the entire day without interrupting other people as they speak. You can also constantly remind yourself not to interrupt others by writing down reminders in the form of sticky notes. You can place them on your desk, computer, or locker so that you always remind yourself and improve your communication. When you are attending meetings with other people, you can note down your points before the meeting so that you can avoid interrupting the speaker. When a person is talking or teaching, you might feel the urge to interrupt them to seek clarification. To avoid this, note all the areas that are not clear and ask the person to clarify later when they are done talking. You should also remember that your silence is as powerful as your spoken word. Keeping quiet and allowing others to speak will make them respect you. Interrupting others as they speak might be taken as a sign of feeling inferior. By interrupting, other people might think that you are trying to prove that you have your ideas. If you have this problem, you might need to deal with the inferiority complex by seeking help from a professional counselor. Interrupting might mean different things to different people depending on their cultural beliefs and origins. For example, in Western culture, interrupting is seen as rudeness. In Italian culture, interrupting another person shows that you are interested in the topic of discussion. In Japanese, you are allowed to interrupt when you feel that something is not clear. You should be willing to find out the origin of the person you are talking to so that you know how their culture or origin perceive interrupting. Time for day 3. Be an inclusive communicator. For you to communicate effectively, you should appreciate that people are different and therefore they hold different opinions and ideas. Every person's opinions and ideas deserve to be respected. As an effective communicator, you should include every other person in your circle, regardless of their cultural background. Inclusive communication is important in strengthening any kind of relationship, whether business or family relationships. Tips for successful inclusive communication. For inclusive communication to succeed, you should avoid picking unnecessary aspects of a person's character. Pick the only aspect that is relevant to the situation at hand. Avoid using a person's sexual orientation to describe them. If you have a new gay staff member joining your team, you should not use the word gay to describe them because it is not relevant in that context. You should also stop assuming a person's gender by using words like he or she. Instead, use a general term like them. For example, in an office where they are looking to fill the position of a general manager, it is appropriate to use them because you may not be certain of the person's gender that will fill the position. Avoid describing people using their disabilities. The person may have a disability, but they may not be suffering from the disability. Also, separate the person from the condition they have. If a person has depression, avoid referring to them as depressive. For you to improve your communication, you should avoid stereotyping people based on their race or ethnic background. You should stop assuming that a person is good or bad at something just because they come from a certain race or country. The assumptions only show that you do not appreciate individuality or personality. Inclusive communication also means avoiding using terms or slangs that may be offensive to the person or the group of people in question. You can improve your communication skills by watching a show on YouTube where 2 or more people are having a discussion. Look out for any participant who may be having stereotypes about other people and use this exercise to evaluate whether you have stereotypes or not. Next is day 4. Expand your vocabulary. How good are you with words? Knowing a wide range of words and knowing how to use them appropriately is very important in the communication process. Knowing your way around words is often associated with being intelligent and well-educated. It will make you a better communicator. Good knowledge of diverse words will help you grow personally and professionally. John O'Connor discovered that people who are good with words are likely to hold top positions at workplaces and are likely to be successful. Good communication is based on knowing words and how to use them appropriately. Communication is the backbone of any successful relationship. When you know words, you can express your ideas better and also grasp new ones easily. Through knowing words, you can communicate better with others through reading and writing and build stronger and better relationships. Vocabulary is important in building a strong professional background. Now, how can you improve your vocabulary? You can make your knowledge of words better by learning new terms every day. You can make it your daily routine to learn new words and apply them when you are talking to other people. You could also tell your friends the new words you have learned and what they mean. You can improve your vocabulary better by reading widely. Make it your habit to read new and more challenging books every day. Dedicate some time from your daily routine to read new words and know their meaning. If someone uses a new word that you don't know, it is always good to ask. Asking does not mean that you are dumb. It means that you have the desire to learn. You can also note down the words so that you can check them out later from the dictionary. Day 5. Choose your words wisely. Some of the words that you choose while communicating limits you. For you to improve your communication, you should avoid using words that could affect you negatively. You should start communicating positively now. Through this, you will start seeing things differently. Things that you saw as challenges will start appearing as new opportunities. When you use words like but in your statement, the meaning of the statement changes completely. You begin giving excuses that could limit your potential. For example, if you say that you love going on vacation, but you are afraid of flying, it means that your fear of flight limits you from enjoying a vacation. When you replace the word but with and, the whole meaning of the statement will change. When you say you love going on vacations and you fear flights, it means that fear cannot stop you from enjoying your vacations. You could explore other means of going on a vacation, or better still, you could overcome your fear of flights. You can also make use of the word yet in your sentence. The word yet means that you have not lost hope in something and that you can still achieve it. When you say that you're not successful yet, you mean that you are in the process of being successful. When you say you are not successful, it means that you have lost all hopes in the possibility of being successful. You can practice positive self-talk by replacing all the buts in your sentence and your life. By doing this, you will realize that you become more optimistic and self-confident and also inspire the people around you. You should replace all the impossibilities in your life by adding the word yet in your situations. Day 6. Watch your pronouns. It feels good to talk about yourself, doesn't it? We often find ourselves naturally using I in our conversations because we are human. However, for us to communicate effectively, we must know how to balance so that the other person can feel appreciated and respected. According to the research carried out at the University of California, it was discovered that there is a relationship between narcissism and talking about yourself. During the research, 24 men and women were given a chance to talk about a topic of their choice while their conversation was being recorded. The researchers reviewed the recordings and discovered that those who used I more times scored higher for narcissism. It may appear normal to you to use I, but to the other person, you may appear selfish and narcissistic. When you are taking a stand on an issue, you have to use I. When you want to express your feelings of disappointment in something or someone, you are required to use I. If you are disappointed in your roommate who does not do their chores, using the word you will appear as if you are trying to accuse them. In this situation, you can use I to express how their behavior made you feel. For example, you can tell your roommate, I feel that we need to clean our place and share all the chores. In this case, your roommate will have an opportunity to realize their mistakes without feeling accused. When you are required to pass across a controversial point, you should use I instead of we. Topics such as religion and politics are sensitive, and therefore you can't talk on behalf of the other people. By using I, it shows that you appreciate that others may not have the same opinion as you. You can communicate much more effectively by embracing the use of the word we. When you use the word we, it shows solidarity and teamwork. It shows that you appreciate the other person or people in your group. When you are inquiring about something that involves other people, it is appropriate to use the word we. Day 7. Offer a helping hand. Helping others is an important aspect of communication. When you want to help the other person, you must know how to approach the situation so that the other person may not feel inadequate, incompetent, or belittled. For you to help effectively, you must tell the other person your intention to help them. By doing this, you will show that you understand and you want to help genuinely. For example, if your friend has moved to a new house and they look like they need help, don't ask them if they need help. Instead, show them that you understand they need help and you are there to offer it. Ask the other person how you may be of help to them. Be specific and point out the area where you intend to. This will show that you are interested in helping them. For example, if your friend has a sick child in a hospital, you could offer to help them shop for groceries or do the house chores instead of asking them to call you if they need help. When you are offering to help, your aim should be to change the situation, but not the person's character. If your colleague loses their job due to constantly being late to work, offer to help them look for another job or connect them to other opportunities instead of trying to point out their mistakes. When you want to help by offering money, you should be open to the idea that people have different principles and feelings towards receiving money from friends. Do not get upset when your friend rejects your financial help because it may be against their principles. You could offer to help in other ways, which may help to relieve their financial burden. And it's time for conclusion now. We have learned that communication is very important in our daily lives. Everyone was born with the natural capability of communicating effectively. But sometimes our upbringing may interfere with our communication. But you can now train yourself to communicate effectively regardless of your character type. From this book, we have learned the various aspects of communication, like listening, avoiding interrupting other people when they are talking, being all inclusive in our communication, expanding our vocabularies, choosing our words well, and offering to help others. We have also learned that communication is a skill that can be learned by anyone, and it gets better through practice. Remember, it's not too late to start communicating effectively and make our relationships better. Your words are a reflection of your beliefs and attitude in life. And that was all for today's summary. If you like the efforts we put behind in making and narrating this book summary for you, then don't forget to add it to your favorites and comment down below what did you like the most. This is Gigla Sakshi, and I'll meet you next time very soon with yet another book summary. Until then, take good care of yourself, stay blessed. Thank you. Jai Hind.